But you're probably like, hey, so many talks already out there, like celebrities endorsing anti-bullying. I'm not going to nag to you guys about this, on how you can stand up against bullying or how it's going to permanently affect someone's life. Today, I'm going to share with you guys about my own experience being bullied and how I learned from it. You heard me, right? Learn from it. But firstly, I have to highlight how it's never justifiable when it comes to bullying someone when trying to tell them where they're faulting. Bullying is usually aimed at people who are weird or not following the status quo or the social norm. Then again, to avoid being bullied, should you change yourself to fit the social norm? That's why I'm going to share with you guys my method of distinguishing when you should do some reflection about yourself and when you should just ignore it and embrace your individuality. Back in primary school, I was a magnet for bullies. It was as if I had a giant sign above my head that said, bully me. Bully me for various reasons. For example, one of the things that they teased me most about was how flat my nose looked and how big it was compared to my face. Well, they called me many ridiculous names like, you know what, maybe not. I shouldn't give you guys ideas to use against me, right? I was also excluded from many group activities, as no one wanted me in their group. Because they thought I was bossy and extremely stubborn, which made me feel alienated and helpless. You all probably remember someone telling you that whenever you're getting bullied, just tell them to stop, right? So you would assume that the bullies are the ones at fault, and the victims should stand up for themselves and not compromise their individuality. But is it always the case? However, over the years, I have come to learn that this may not be true. Thinking about my situation more objectively, I realized that I need to distinguish between cases when I should stand up for myself and not give in to the bullies, and when I should be introspective and learn from the situation and improve myself as a person. The way I distinguish these two kinds is using the harm principle by John Stuart Mill as my guideline. So what is the harm principle? Well, it's simply letting you do whatever you want to do, unless it harms someone. So basically, you could, according to this principle, you could run around the streets naked. But then again, don't run around naked. It's just wrong. So following the guidelines, whether the reasons you are being bullied harms anyone or not, I came up with two options, option A and option B. Option A is when the reason you are getting bullied is just plain nonsense, while the other one is constructive and good to learn from, as it could harm someone or yourself. So instead of letting my emotions run wild, impeding my ability to reason, yeah, I know it sounds really TOK-ish, but hey, I'm just that good of a TOK student, Well, I calm myself down and see these two options. Think over why I'm getting bullied and see whether I should change myself to fit social norms or embrace my individuality like it's a giant Pikachu. So, back to me being a victim, which option should I have applied to each case? Well, when it comes to my nose, should I have been ashamed of it? And perhaps dream of the day I get a nose job, which is not that uncommon nowadays. No, I should not compromise my individuality just so I can look normal. Does it harm anyone just because it's big or it looks very flat? No. So I should go with option A and stand up against these bullies. Then what about me being perceived as really bossy and extremely stubborn? Well, instead of letting me be blinded by my emotions of anger and being really defensive, I willed myself to be objective and thought about why I was being perceived in such a manner. It was not easy to admit it to myself and accept it, but I really was really stubborn and bossy. So through knowing what I was like through the eyes of others, it changed me just not to think about only what I look to myself, but what I look like to others too. As a last point, I would like to reiterate that bullying is never right. No one should ever be bullied. Deserve to be bullied too. But my point to you guys is, don't intuitively let your emotions overwhelm you, and as a victim, think over why the bullies think of you that way and whether you should change. Coincidentally, my form teacher, Mr. Bruce Xiao, was doing an activity on self-actualization with my form class when he said this quote. Therefore, I felt that this quote was appropriate to end my speech with. You only ever know yourself through the eyes of others. Thank you.